Long before the perfectionists pursued utopia in Oneida, the Aboriginal people were living it. The Sagoe Cultural Center serves to educate and share with the community the culture, history, and heritage of the Oneida people.
We do tour groups and school groups, and they come in and we teach them about our culture and history. They do a craft project, they do make a corn husk doll, they learn a little bit of language, and also if just somebody wants to visit the Cultural Center, they'll learn a little bit about our involvement in the Revolutionary War, and also see some of our artifacts, some of the activities we used to do prior to contact with non-Indians, and also after contact. This building is made of Adirondack white pine, and it is made through a method called scribing, and that's simply where you take a compass, or a rather large compass, and draw a line down the entire length of one of the logs, and then they would go through and cut out the excess wood, and then they could put the two pieces together so they would fit like puzzle pieces. And so that they've done this, we don't need any chinking or any glue or any nails in the building. And white pine was used because it's known as the tree of peace. The 5 nations living in this part of the country at one point agreed to form a confederacy, a league of nations, and they agreed to live in peace. And the story is they uprooted a white pine tree, they buried their weapons underneath it, and when they replanted the tree back down, it was known as the tree of peace. And so that's why we used white pine when we built this cabin. It's important for people to come here and visit the Cultural Center because they should really learn a little bit about the Oneida Nation. We are here, we have always been here, and we always will be here. So it's only going to help them to know a little bit about their neighbors. And so we do encourage people to come here just to learn a little bit more about this Central New York and about Central New York history.
When you come to the Sagoe Cultural Center, be sure to find out the story behind the corn husk dolls. There's a parable there, and it's very, very interesting. This is a girl corn husk doll, and this is a boy. Neither one has a face. There's a reason for that. When you come here, you can either buy one, or if it's a Tuesday or a Saturday and you make an appointment, you can also make one for yourself. And the lesson to be learned is truly timeless.
We've learned a lot today. Now it's time for a lunch break. One thing we've learned, if you're looking for good food, follow the locals. And we followed a steady stream of customers into Murphy's Corner.
Restaurant's been here since 1951. I've been here 17 years. My father had 5 years prior to that. I'd worked for Niagara Mohawk for 20 years. Left Niagara Mohawk and needed something, didn't know what I wanted to do, and my father was getting ready to get out, so I took it over 17 years ago, which I've been very happy here. I've got a great business, great bunch of people that come here. My wife comes here every morning, and she cooks everything from scratch. Our soups are homemade from scratch. When I say scratch, I'm talking about fresh vegetables, not out of cans. And our product is all homemade every morning, whatever our specials are. Yeah, we try to, give it a family atmosphere. It's like the sign says, Murphy's Corner is where good friends meet.
What Gary did not tell you is that he is the nephew of Carmen Basilio. Now, Carmen, for those of you who go back a few years, you may remember, won the welterweight and the middleweight championship of the world, and he's right here from the Mohawk Valley. When you come here, you'll be greeted at the door not by an Irishman at Murphy's Corner, but by an Italian, because Gary's real name is Gary Murphysio, and it was shortened to Murphy. However, I did meet an Irish fellow. It was the fellow that I shook hands with. His name is John Shannon. He's 95 years old, and he's been coming here since the place opened 55 years ago. It's Easter Sunday, and by now you should have your Easter lily. While we were in Oneida, we went to Balloons and Blossoms on Main Street, and the owner there, Denise, told me the legend behind the Easter lily. The legend is that when Mary was buried, her tomb was visited a few days later, and they found bunches of lilies growing there.
Let's see what we can see. It's time for the